Panama Canal, one of the greatest achievements of the 20th century. But despite its wonder, there's a dark side. Deception, manipulation, and segregation of the Panamanian people living near the canal, and the massive black Caribbean labor force that built this marvel of engineering. In the early 1900s, an American plan to build a canal connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans was implemented after failed attempts by both Spain and France. However, at the time, Panama was a province of Colombia, and Colombia had no intention of allowing the United States to build a canal on their land. So President Roosevelt encouraged several influential Panamanians to start a revolution and gain independence. Once the bloodless revolution of less than one day was over, Roosevelt sent U.S. ships to make sure no future Colombian uprising would occur. A hasty treaty was then written giving the Panamanian people $10 million for the right of the United States to build and operate the canal. However, no Panamanian ever signed that treaty. As construction of the canal began, black workers from the Caribbean islands as well as Americans from the United States were being shipped to the job site. However, when they got there, the living and financial situations of the black and American workers were very different. American workers were housed in large buildings called bachelor houses and had 2 men per room and were paid 30 cents per hour, while black laborers were housed in much smaller and more primitive houses and were only paid around 90 cents per day. Even the quinine taken to combat tropical illness was racially segregated, with white so-called gold employees drinking from one cup and black so-called silver employees drinking from another. In fact, the only thing the American and Caribbean workers had in common was their likelihood of contracting some kind of tropical disease like malaria or yellow fever. Once construction was complete, some American workers stayed on to operate and maintain the new canal, but Panamanians were still segregated in their own country and had to be out of the American-controlled canal zone by dark unless they had reason to be there. However, over time, nationalism made the citizens of Panama want the 10-mile strip of land around the canal back, and Colombian officials began questioning the original treaty of 1903. When the U.S. refused to put the Panamanian flag up next to the United States flag inside the canal zone, and then called their newfound nationalism communism, that was the final straw. Panama severed all communication to the United States. After many attempts to get back into communication with Panama, President Johnson renegotiated the Treaty of 1903 to recognize the sovereignty of the canal. This renegotiation was only the first of many steps taken to give Panama complete control of the canal.